Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. It's a big week for us, not in terms of transfers actually, but a big week in terms of preparation for the Premier League as we return on the 17th of next month. We have only 3 preseason games in between. Liverpool, which will be on Thursday, will also take on Leverkusen midweek, and then we'll take on Lyon as the last game on Sunday before then we play on 17th of August. So Mikel Arteta has around 20 full days to prepare his team for the for the new season. A couple of players are going to be coming back this week, but we are also going to be talking about some of the transfers that could happen in the next 20 days. I don't think Mikel Arteta is 100% fully satisfied with whatever he has, but at least 2 signings could come in the next 20 days, and that will be enough. Maybe a goalkeeper could come in. I don't know. Ramsdale looks like he's set to go to Nottingham Forest. We're going to be talking about him. What could happen this week with Aaron Ramsdale and what needs to happen with Aaron Ramsdale this week as well. But I think most importantly, if you're Mikel Arteta, you're looking for that forward player. You're looking for that striker. Can we get a deal done for the striker this week? Can we get the Mikel Merino deal done this week as well? So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Again, we are previewing the week. What is going to happen in this week? Now, let's start off with the Ricardo Calafiori one, because we expect an official announcement from Arsenal for Ricardo Calafiori. Everything pretty much done. Medicals done last week. That was completed. Done very well. He's in the USA now with the team. We expect his media duties to be done. We expect his final parts of the medicals to be done, if everything was not completed in London, and then he will be announced as an Arsenal player this week. At first, I thought we could see him, this Thursday as we play Liverpool. But I think we'll see him on Wednesday next week when we take on Bayer Leverkusen. That is when we'll see him play for Arsenal for the first time. I don't know what shirt number he's going to put on. Can we do some predictions? There is shirt number 13. There is shirt number 33. There is shirt number 3 that Kieran Tierney has right now. So which number would you love to see him wear? I would love to see him put on that shirt number 3, but Kieran Tierney is still putting it on. And with all due respect, I do love Kieran Tierney. And I just don't think his shirt number should be ripped away before he leaves, right? So Ricardo Calafiori at the moment could wear shirt number 33. When maybe Kieran Tierney leaves this summer, as most sources are saying that Kieran Tierney is expected to find a solution away from Arsenal this summer, then we can get him to wear the shirt number 3. So shirt number 33, for me at the moment, I just don't like that 33. Sorry, I don't like shirt number 13. I remember Welbeck putting it on. I remember David Ospina putting it on. I'm just not a big fan of the shirt 13. But for me, 3 and 33, those are the 2 shirt numbers that I would love to see Ricardo Calafiori, wear when he's announced this week. Now, in terms of preparations, Mikel Arteta this week is going to have a massive boost. As we take on Liverpool, that means that he will have played Manchester United and Liverpool within a space of less than a week. That will allow him to look at his squad, especially the players that are going to begin the season, the players that are not first teamers, to see where are we in terms of squad depth. Because, the first 2 preseason games, and maybe the third one against Liverpool, it's about looking at your squad depth. It's about looking at your players that don't start every game. Where are they? Can you trust them? Who can you trust in terms of, quality when you don't have the Declan Rices of this world, when you don't have the William Salibas of this world? Who can you trust? And what we have seen in the first 2 games is that players like Timber are reliable. Players like, Kiwior are reliable. Players like, Ethan Nwaneri, very young but reliable. And then players like Gabriel Jesus, although he's gone through a rough patch in the last year, but he is also reliable as well. So you won't be surprised, and I won't be surprised as well, if the season starts and instead of the usual starting 11 that we know, we start off with kind of half the 11 that we saw last season and half the players that actually were sitting on the bench. But what Mikel Arteta is going to get this week is a couple of players are coming back. By the time we get to the weekend, most, if not all, of Arsenal players must be back in camp, because then that will be only will be remaining with less than 14 days, less than 15 days to the start of the Premier League. So this week we expect Declan Rice back in the camp. We expect Saliba back in the camp. We expect Saka back, Raya, Ramsdale. All these lads should be back with the team. And Mikel now can be able to assess where we are exactly. Are we going to use Timber like at centre back next season? That could be a possibility. He's played very well there. Right back, left back. What's going to happen, right? So he's going to have a chance to look at the whole squad, the guys that have been on break, and the guys that have been training and working in pre-season. So we're going to have a full house. Potentially against Lyon and Leverkusen, we're going to see a better Arsenal in terms of, quality, in terms of who is out there on the pitch. And possibly, by the time we play Leverkusen and Lyon, we will have a few signings as well added onto Ricardo Calafiori. You might see, I think Mikel Merino will be in time for the Lyon game, maybe in time for the Leverkusen game as well next Wednesday. Victor Gyokerez, that could take some time. Fabian Ruiz, if he was to join us, that could take some time as well. Now, this week, you expect 3 outgoings to make massive progress. I'll start off with Emil Smith Rowe. Now, with Emil Smith Rowe, guys, everything is done. So this is the week where Arsenal officially, I think we are still being a little bit nostalgic. This is where we face reality. This is where we bite the bullet. This is where we tell Emil Smith Rowe, I'm sorry, we are sorry. We have agreed a deal with Fulham to let you go. Mikel Arteta's words in the last 2 press conferences have been very key. He was asked about Emil Smith Rowe not getting involved in any of the games against Manchester United and which other game did we play? I mean, it feels like we played 2 games. We played Manchester United and Bournemouth. Okay, and Bournemouth. I had just forgotten the Bournemouth game. So against Manchester United and Bournemouth. And yet, he was the captain, right? At some point in time, he was captain in the Leyton Orient game in the second half. And Mikel Arteta said, there are things that are happening in the background. There are things that are going on. We decided to keep him out of the game because of the progress and because of what is going on behind the scenes. And that should tell you that Emil Smith Rowe knows, Arsenal know, and everyone should know that ESR is leaving this team very, very soon. So this week should be the 7 days where everything gets consolidated. We know that there is an exclusive from the most reliable journalist on planet Earth when it comes to footballing news. That's David Ornstein. I think this week is when we hear personal terms may be agreed between ESR. This week is when we hear medicals completed. And this week is when we hear the here we go for Fulham and Emil Smith Rowe. So that one, if anything doesn't happen along those lines, I'll be shocked. I'll be surprised. The other is Reiss Nelson. I think with Reiss Nelson, he's played a little bit more in preseason, and it surprises me. It doesn't worry me. Of course, am I supposed to be worried? 100% I'm supposed to be worried. But Leicester City sat down with Arsenal. They approached us. They gave us an option. They gave us an offer, which was signing Emil Smith Rowe on loan with an obligation to buy. Ever since then, talks have been on, going on, but not as advanced as the Emil Smith Rowe talks, as Emil Smith, as Reiss Nelson has been able to play for Arsenal for quite some time. But I think what's going to happen with Reiss Nelson this week, we will see a couple of new admirers. I won't be surprised if if West Ham come back for him with a proper bid, because what Arsenal are saying, they'll prefer to sell him this summer rather than an option to buy or an obligation to buy next summer. So Arsenal still holding out for some cash this summer in Reiss Nelson. Again, I won't be surprised if we get a breakthrough or if we get somewhere into advanced negotiations and talks between Leicester City and Arsenal for Reiss Nelson. It's the same thing with Eddie Nketiah. This week should not leave us in at the same position, at the same station with Eddie Nketiah and Olympique Marseille. If we are not going to allow them to sign him, we should be able to tell them that, listen, your offer is bogus. Go away and maybe bring another offer, or maybe don't even come back. We're not interested. you know, something is peculiar with Eddie Nketiah. Something so peculiar with this guy is there. How come that Eddie Nketiah doesn't have clubs all over him? How come that we have now spent 2 good months, June and July, clubs buying and selling players, and yet Eddie Nketiah doesn't have clubs really that are fighting and punching each other to sign him? Something's really peculiar. Do clubs understand and do clubs know something that we don't, that maybe Arsenal are not willing to sell? Because if that's not it, West Ham are looking to sign John Duran for like 35 million, and Eddie Nketiah is there. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Crystal Palace, Palace do have Mateta. Maybe Glasner feels like he's got the new Oli Watkins, is going to make him work. That would be a mistake anyway. But this week, let's see what happens with Eddie, but I expect things to move on. Now, in terms of incomings, we will expect a couple of things to happen as well. Let's start off with the Mikel Merino deal. Close. Last week, done this week. That's what I expect. That's what I expect. We were very close last week, and all sources reported that, although the language and the writing and the phrasing was different, the message was the same. Arsenal are close to signing Mikel Merino, and they feel very, very confident. So remember last week, Fabrizio said Arsenal are preparing to advance on the situation of Mikel Merino. Charles Watts said Arsenal are confident they can get this one done. Team News and Ticks, Arsenal are very, very close to signing Mikel Merino. So different phrasing, different words. I'm not saying that all of them were intentionally trying to communicate that. I'm trying to say that if it is true and all of them have good information, this deal was closed last week. So this week, we are no longer working on the Ricardo Calafiori deal unless Edu is telling us that he has to be there when Calafiori is doing interviews, so that he doesn't say, oh, they bought me for 70 million, but they told the media that they bought me for 39 million. I'm lying. But I'm joking, not lying. What I wanted to say is the Mikel Merino deal should now progress on, guys. We are done with finding an agreement between us and the player. We are done with establishing that he's for sale, and we are also we are done as well with establishing what La Real are going to be asking for. Now this week, I don't expect any lunatic behavior from La Real trying to tell us that they are trying to keep the player. That is out of the books. It's out of the question. Please and please, the player has decided to leave. Do not angry us. Atletico Madrid, of course, we expect Madrid to maybe put in some bit of friction, but I expect Arsenal to go over that friction as quick as that. So this week, do we get that? Here we go? Probably not. But I won't be surprised if this week we get 1 or 2 bids in for the player, and then personal terms are great. At least that will be, a good week in terms of getting our midfielder. So the other player is Fabian Ruiz that Arsenal interested in. Now, if we are really interested in Fabian Ruiz, this is the week where reliable sources jump onto the bandwagon. They jump onto the story. This is the week where we get to see, Fabrizio give us updates on Fabian Ruiz, maybe the Athletic open up about Fabian Ruiz, because ever since Duncan Cassos and Foot Mercato reported on this deal that was on Friday and Thursday and Friday, because I remember took a break on Saturday, took a break on Sunday, there's been nothing. There's been really, really nothing, not from Duncan Cassos, not from anyone. So this week, we should be able to get some clarification. Do Arsenal really want Fabian Ruiz? And if we do we want him alongside? This is very good. This is going to be very key. Do we want him alongside Mikel Merino, or do we want him? Do we want either or? So let's wait and see. Fabian Ruiz, Mikel Merino, this is your week to shine. With Victor Gyokerez, I don't expect anything this week. And it's a little bit annoying, right? But I don't expect anything this week in terms of attack. Because Fabrizio has told us that Arsenal are working on deal by deal. So that means that if you're working on the Mikel Merino deal and maybe potentially the ESR deal to get him out. Those two deals should be able to occupy Edu and Mikel this week. I won't be surprised to see ESR leaving at the end of the week, and maybe Mikel Merino entering at the weekend, right? And then next week, we can focus on the attack. Now, again, I'm not saying that Arsenal will not try to do anything on the attackers or on the attacking point of view. I think that the priority has always been defender, goalkeeper, and midfielder. And then when we get some more time, when we get some spare time, we'll work on the attackers. Again, with Victor Gyokerez, I think Arsenal will continue to scout him during this preseason. Do they still have more preseason games? I'm presuming, right? I'm presuming they still have more preseason games. And yeah. So let's wait and see. But this week I don't expect big developments on the Victor Gyokerez deal unless otherwise. Rafinha, we're going to talk about Rafinha in one of the live streams that we're going to do. I'm hoping to do one at 5. I hope I'll be a little bit better. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and meet me live at 5.